Let's talk Uncanny X-Force.
Sure.
Really put those characters through the grinder, then gave them a little vacation into the British world.
Well, it seemed like a vacation. I think
You ruined that.
I don't know what it is about really giving the characters a rough time, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously with these things, there's a component of soap opera to it, and I think that there's also the fun of seeing somebody, like the tragic hero, make a mistake, which X-Force did in what they did in that first arc, and then to constantly deal with the consequences of that mistake. And so I feel validated in beating them up. And Otherworld was great because everybody thought it was going to be like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
And at the end, I put a knife in Betsy's stomach and twisted it a little bit, which is only the beginning.
It's nice you're taking turns with the different characters that get shit on over and over again.
Oh, I try. Betsy's been getting it a lot lately.
Yeah.
Warren, Jamie, but that plays into what's coming up in the Final Execution arc, which begins in issue 25, and that runs 8 issues, maybe 9. I don't remember. 9, yeah. So that goes until issue around 34, and that'll be. I wrote something. I had a story in mind that I never imagined could be approved, and I called editor Nick Lowe, and he loved it. And then we beat it into shape, and he added some stuff, and we figured out what I think is. I don't know what other term to use than the most hardcore X-Men. I don't think any X story will have beat the shit out of the characters quite as much as what we're doing in this arc. So if you like seeing beloved X-Men have terrible times, but beyond that, we're also, one of the big things here was a development for Wolverine that moves his character forward, and hopefully does it in a way where it's unexpected, and I know where it leads to, and Marvel really got behind this. So we're going to see an actual huge change in his life and who he is based on the events of this story. 2 characters in the team die, a new member joins, so it's a lot of taking a ball-peen hammer to what's there and kind of smashing it a little further.
That's awesome. I feel like the stories have been so epic, but also detail-oriented. How do you sort of strike that balance of big stories, but also fine points on very specific continuity, especially, with some characters that maybe aren't like Jean-Philippe?
Sure. Well, they call it dancing through raindrops.
Yeah.
And as an X fan, and as a former fanatic, in the 80s up until 93, 94, when I didn't know, was out of college and had no more expendable income for a few years, I was diehard. I read everything, and what Claremont did on that book really shaped a lot of what I like about mainstream comic books. And so voice-wise and continuity-wise, I'm drawing from a lot of Chris Claremont, Frank Miller, and then Grant Morrison. And what I love about that, being mindful of all continuity, because I think that, it's one thing to find a reason that you can change something or illuminate a moment in a different way, but I think ignoring continuity is something that most fans find a pretty big bummer.
Yeah.
And they like it to be addressed and acknowledged, and as long as it's not hurting the story I'm telling, I try to do that.